Well, how's it going, everybody?
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, we back. Like we said in the first episode.
Episode 2.
Episode 2.
Of Season 2.
Season 2. Season 2. That's pretty cool, Season 2. So we're going to talk about staycations and destinations on this one.
Staycations, destinations. What exactly do you think that looks like?
Well, you remember when we were first married, we really couldn't afford to really go anywhere like vacation.
Well, that's true, because, we had, well, when you're first married, you don't have a lot of income, and especially because I was staying at home. And then we had,
three children.
Of our children.
3 children, yeah.
Yeah, 3 of our kids, and so that
all under the age of 5.
You remember that? That seems like that was like ages ago.
I do. And when they got old enough, they started getting older. We started doing little staycations.
Yeah, that's true. We were able to actually, go different places, but we didn't have a lot of money to go anywhere. So any of the staycations that we really went to were pretty local. I guess I say local because it's still here in Colorado where we live. So I think I remember one of the things that we went to is we were able to go to I think it was in Colorado Springs, and then we just took the kids with us, and we found a hotel that actually had a water slide there.
They love that.
Oh, yeah. I think that was probably one of the earliest memories that they may have of us actually doing something as a family.
As a family.
Not that it was, we did things as family, but it was an actual vacation to them.
Away from everything.
Yeah, yeah. And it was all of us there. So, that was actually pretty fun because it wasn't something that, it wasn't too far away. So we weren't worried about a really long drive.
Right.
Trying to get to the location.
Well, and back then hotels were reasonable.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Back then it wasn't as much as it is now. The times have changed,
They have.
Economy's changed. And
yeah. Yeah, like even we would save up a little bit of money, like take them to the Garden of the Gods or Cave of the Winds.
Yeah, that was, in Garden of the Gods, that's free. That's a free park that you can go into, but Cave of the Winds has just a little bit of an expense, but still, it's a great experience for the entire family. It's not something for, just one, adults or just kids or whatever. It's
well, and I think at that point, at Cave of the Winds, I think at that point we had Rachel. So at that point we had all 4.
Okay.
For Cave of the Winds. I remember that because I remember pictures of Rachel. We still have them put away, but I remember pictures of her then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just being able to go to these different locations, and we didn't have to spend a lot of money even when we went up to Estes Park in the Rocky Mountain National Park. I think that's one of the funnest places that I like to go to. And, here.
I remember when we went, we could only go so high. We didn't even make it to the sun. We got to a point where the snow blocked us in and the road was done and we had to turn around and come back down.
Very true. That's living in Colorado. You never know what the weather's going to be. It's like the weather's a little hectic around here. It's to hear, or some people like to say it's bipolar. Yeah,
I've coined that phrase a few times. Yeah, and it's funny. That's why we have a certain window that we normally keep. We don't travel after a certain time because we don't know if the weather's going to take a turn.
Well, that's true.
And over the years we've learned that. But like in these early years, it was just here because we couldn't afford to go anywhere else.
Yeah. But it was still, even when you get up to the mountain, there's a lot of things to look at. Of course, when you're able to go in the right time, you can see the changing the colors of the trees and the aspen trees here, and even then it was a great experience. I think it was a great experience for all of us.
Right. There was that one time we went to Jefferson. You remember that one? We took a few people with us. And we were on that. It was a fishing trip.
Okay.
And so we all fished the inlet, and like each of us caught our limits.
Oh yeah.
Like one of our friends' little brother made a fishing pole out of a pop can.
I know, wasn't that so strange? I had never
Yeah.
seen that before, but
Yeah.
I mean, he caught his limit.
We all caught our limit.
I don't think I was fishing at the time.
Well, I
think
know,
was
but
letting
all the people that
everybody's-
were fishing, we
Oh,
all caught
sure,
our limit. It kind of made everybody in the inlet mad because they had been fishing most of the day and they didn't catch nothing.
We were just pulling fish
Yeah.
in, pulling fish
And they were like, when we were leaving, what bait do you guys? You got any left? And like, well, that's why we're leaving. We ain't got no more bait left. We were using worms, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, and that's a cool experience to have because we were able to experience that with all the kids. Because I remember having pictures of our oldest son actually holding up the fish. You know, he's like dangling the fish that he caught. You know,
Yeah.
and that's an amazing experience.
Yeah. Well, I remember that trip. We went back to the campsite because we camped inside Jefferson, the state park or whatever. And the ranger came over to us and says, "Hey, don't worry, we got our eyes on him, but there's a mountain lion being sighted in the park
Yes,
area
yes.
in the vicinity."
And the best part of this story is the fact that we actually had a tent. So this wasn't something that we had a big RV or we had a big enclosed
'Cause
camper.
we were tent campers.
Yeah, we camped in the tent and we were sleeping on the ground but it was definitely kind of a little bit of a different type of experience. You know, I mean, I never thought about it. You know, it's not something that you think about every day.
Right.
That, you know, hey, you know, there could be these wild animals that are around you that could be dangerous. And it's, you know, you just don't think about it. But then when it happens and you just happen to have somebody come up to you and say, hey, you know, be careful, put your food away and, you know, think about it. So.
Do you remember what happened the next morning?
Yeah, I think I remember that, you know, when we woke up, there was, you know, we get out of the tent and, you know, we're checking all of our cars, making sure that they were okay.
Right,
and
right.
then coming back to the tent, I think somebody had seen that there was some tracks that were
Right in the
that
mud.
circled around our
the tent.
So.
Yeah. So we've had some kind of adventures. That was kind of the start of our adventures that we had because now, you know, it wasn't a staycation; it was actually a destination that we were going to.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and then you planned a destination trip for me for my. I can't remember what birthday it was.
I'm pretty sure that it could have been your 30th birthday because
Okay.
you had some issues with the 30.
Yeah, 30 was my midlife crisis.
So
My 20s were gone.
So that vacation that we were talking about, we ended up, I went and I looked for something to do with the entire family. Well, I thought about, there was this rock climbing. Now, I mean, we are not rock climbers. We don't have any equipment to
by
rock
any
climb.
means.
And we, but I thought it would be really neat because it wasn't that far. Again, we have, you know, the 4 of our kids and we were just trying to, you know, save costs and trying to find out where we can go for inexpensive. So I ended up going on the internet at the time. It was,
Right.
you know, we didn't have our smartphones
No.
to look through it. So
Computer typing.
and waiting for the dial-up. And
However that sound is.
I don't think it sounded like that.
It doesn't, but I just, you know. We don't have a sound effect button.
Oh, yeah.
I
we
gotta
need
make them. I gotta make them.
We need to invest in one.
Yeah, we need to. But then
Anyway.
it would sound cheesy. At least this is more
Okay.
animated.
Well, you're animated anyway, so.
I know.
All right. So anyway, I digress.
Yeah,
We're
you
gonna
did.
go to. We're going to find a destination for him to go to
Because I like rock climbing.
celebrate his birthday and kind of get his mind off the fact that he was no longer 20. And so I ended up finding this place in Wyoming, and I can't say the name because I think it's
Vendevu or something like that.
yeah,
It's
Vendu
yeah.
or what, something like
Yeah.
that. I don't know. I apologize that we messed
If we
up the
butchered
name.
it, we apologize.
Yes.
Just type it up. It's
Yeah.
VEDAUWOO. That's how you spell it. No, not how you say it, but that's how you spell it.
But it was a great time. So we got all the kids and got them ready. I think the day before we left, we made sure that everything was good. We had all of our water, and we had, because I knew we were going to be going out, but I was
What's going on there? Said
Excuse
water
me.
and you started choking. You getting thirsty?
maybe I need some water.
Maybe. Dang it, look at her. She lost. Okay, so let me pick it up. So she finds this place because she's having a coughing issue here. She finds this place and surprises me. Says, "Oh, we're gonna go." And I had just worked on the brakes. I had just put the brakes in the car, so just a precursor. So we get ready to go on this trip, and we're driving up there, the little minivan we had, and we take it all the way to Wyoming, just between Cheyenne and Laramie. I can't remember the name of the town. There's a town it's in, and so we drive there, and you see like flat face rocks. It's just a formation in the middle of nowhere. So you see flat face rock, and they're actually got the repellers with the strings and the ropes and all that, doing all that. And then there's another like rock formation where you can actually just climb on the rocks. So we were walking through the little path there.
It actually was
tennis shoes and Crocs.
Okay, you were in Crocs, but I was not. I was in tennis shoes because I kind of knew that we were going to go rock climbing, but he did not. So I didn't prepare him very well. That we were actually going
rock climbing equipment.
Yes, not a good idea when you're
another precursor.
Not a good idea when you're actually bringing a family to go rock climbing. So.
Right. So we get up and we're high on this rock formation.
And the best part about it though is that the kids, the boys were like, they were like mountain lions.
Little spider monkeys climbing up that
They were climbing
sucker.
up there. They were so fast when me and Emily and Rachel were kind of back. But so we were going a little bit slower, I was kind of going a little bit at mom pace.
So we're on this rock formation where the rock is kind of just sitting there and it kind of hangs over. Okay, so we're on this part right here, and it hangs over another rock, and then it's just straight down from there. So we're on this rock formation. My daughter's here. She slides. Yeah. I'm here. Thinking, what am I going to do? I'm not attached to anything. I have Crocs on. I have nothing that's going to remotely grip her. So I have to reach for her to pull her up to where we are. And one slight move and we're both off that rock. But I have to stay at the strong face. All right, I got you and we're good and we're going to get this. But the whole time I'm sweating bullets because we're both gone. If the slight move, because I'm not attached to anything. But I'm treating it as if God's got me. God's got my leg holding me. But really, nothing is there. And so we get her. We get up to the top, and we find out we can't go down the same way we came up.
No, that would have been poor planning on my part anyway. But still, we ended up finding another area where we can actually walk down. We still had to go down the rock, but it wasn't as difficult as the one way went up.
Yeah.
And it was. When we got down to the ground, I was like, thank you, God. And I was like praying, thank you, Lord, for getting us down off this hill. It was not, it was definitely an experience, but it was not something that I would not plan for next time for sure.
Yeah. So we get ready to leave. We all get in the van and we're driving out, and all of a sudden we're driving, and all of a sudden I hear a cop. And I'm like, oh, great. The car jacked up. So we limp the car to where all the campers are. Okay, so we're over there and we're figuring it out, and I kind of looked and I realized when I put the pad in, it was moving. As the rotor would move, and what I heard was it clicking against the top of the caliper, as it moved. And so I'm like, shoot. So I pull over and I figure, okay, I got to go to where the camping area is. So we're over there in the camping area. I pull off. And off to here, there's campers. There's people camping from other states all over. And so I go in the back of the truck, back of the van. All my tools are in the carport.
Which is not with us, obviously. You forgot to put everything back in. And that was another fun part of the adventure of what we were doing that day. That was not planned, obviously.
No. So as we're sitting there, a southern man with a southern drawl. I've done it before. I'm not gonna try and do it now, but he came up, and I'm just gonna talk the way he talks, but not with the accent probably. He came up to me and he says, "What's your problem, boy?" I says, "Yeah, my brake pad is loose." He goes, "Well, get it off and let's get it going. I'll help you." I said, "Okay, but I ain't got no tools." He goes, "No tools?" And I think once he said that, all of a sudden his wife goes, oh, honey, come bring the kids down here. Bring the kids down here. Because he knew, she probably knew I was going to get it. So she gets the kids. Stacy goes with the kids with them, and she's giving them cookies and all kinds of stuff from their RV. And he's sitting there and says, boy, I should take a switch to your backside, leaving the house with no equipment. And so he went and got his tools. We got the wheel off. We got the caliper off. We got it set in place, tightened it all back up, put it back on, and we were on our way. Hence began the first adventure with Lido. Because there were many more like that afterwards.
Yeah, we've had some other, definitely some crazy adventures in our travels.
Right.
You know what? And I think honestly that back then we didn't know that we were being prepared for things, and I think that that God knew that we were going to be doing what we're doing now back then. So a lot of these pitfalls that we had at the very beginning, and if we look at them like, oh my gosh, that was the stupidest move ever,
right,
and we would never do that again and whatever. But if we don't learn from that, then how are we here today?
Right.
Because there's a lot of things that we had to take from that position or that particular time to move forward and to get where we are today.
Right.
And doing all the travels that we have been now.
Right. And then over the years, we have always said, since we first got married, we wanted to have our kids early, so that we would be young enough to travel. Because we love to travel. We've always loved to travel, but we just couldn't afford it. We really couldn't afford to go anywhere because, raising 4 kids with one income, for a long time there was hard. I mean, I was working 2 jobs. Whenever we found the time to go somewhere, money was tight.
Yeah, and we honestly, because we had 4 kids that were really young, I mean, I think that we probably could have done something or done more, but and as a young couple, you don't have all the experiences that we do now,
Right.
and all of the knowledge that we do and the wisdom that we have now, that if we're going to decide to do those type of traveling, that we need that you gotta plan a little bit better than what we did back then.
Yeah. But even then, I mean, again, we get to a point now where we're going to be traveling. And we started really, really traveling. And then we had other people were like, well, I like to go to this place. I like to do this thing. So, there were 2 trips that we're going to highlight in this episode. My mom, I've never gone on a trip with my mom. When I was a kid, my mom would want to go places, and they went places. And I'm like, I'm too tough. I want to hang out at home with my friends. And they go to California, they go to different places, and I never went anywhere because I was just too myself, too like, I'm independent. I want to do what I want to do. And so I never got to go anywhere with my mom. My sister has memories with my mom, and I never did. And so my mom wanted to go to New Mexico, because she collects turquoise, turquoise jewelry, turquoise stuff. So she wanted to go to some of the places her and my dad used to go. My stepfather used to go to get turquoise, go see stuff. And so we planned this little trip. I called it the New Mexico road trip, because we were going to go in several different places. We stopped in Taos, we stopped in Chimayo, we stopped in Santa Fe, and then on the way home we stopped in Las Vegas. Santa Fe is really where we stood. We drove through Taos and Chimayo to Santa Fe, walked around Santa Fe, went and looked around in Santa Fe, and then we came back up to Las Vegas. And so that was kind of the first time it was like a destination road trip. She was my very first, okay, we're going because of somebody else, because normally we would just go because we want to go. And so she kind of loosely planned the trip, because she had the agenda, she had what she wanted to do, and so I was kind of along for the ride, and it was really, really enjoyable. It was really fun to spend time with my mom, and then later on, I think a year or 2 later, my aunt wanted to go to the Dia de los Muertos in Santa Fe. And so we planned a trip in San Antonio. I'm still thinking of my mom. But anyways, we planned a trip to there, and when we were going there, we were driving, because I started doing overnight. I started saying, okay, we're gonna leave the night before so we could be there first thing in the morning. Especially like on a 12-hour drive or a 14-hour drive, we would leave the night before. You'll learn more about why we did that from an episode called Turn and Burn. That's where it first taught me to do that. I'm going to go into detail with that then. But so we drive through the night, and as we're going through, I think it was like 2:00 in the morning, wasn't it?
Yeah, at that time I was actually driving, so he took the first leg of the drive, and then I took the second. And so we're sitting there, and I'm driving, you know, real quiet, whatever. But then all of a sudden, I see all of these lights in front of me, and I'm like, "What is happening?" I didn't know what was happening. I mean, it looked weird, you know. I mean, you can see things that are like out in the distance, but this one, you know, it looked weird. So then, you know, I kind of slow down a little bit, and I look, and I see that I wake him up because I'm like, babe, look what's happening. And so then he wakes up. We both look, and there's actually a box truck that's actually like to the side.
It's on its side,
and it's catty corner in the highway, so it's not like we can just drive through.
So the road is like this, and it's like just sitting there diagonal across the highway.
And I think it was on both lanes.
Yeah,
so it wasn't like I could just pull around on one side or whatever. It was literally, we had to stop. And somebody came running out and saying, stop, or you're going to kill somebody.
And we're stopped. We're not even moving.
I know. And he was like, you're going to kill somebody.
Kill somebody.
I'm not moving. Yeah. But anyway, then the state patrol happened upon us, and they started coming or whatever. And I mean, I'm just sitting there because there's no place for us to go, because literally where we would have gone for the lane, it was full of debris.
Yeah.
And there was no way that we were going to go around it. So the police officers were coming, and they were checking to see how we were and how everybody else was during this.
Because they thought we were part of the accident.
Yeah, because we were so close to it. I mean, well, I stopped
everybody
as soon as I saw
behind us had
but
stopped way back.
Yeah, and it was, so, you know, we just happened to, you know, say, hey, we weren't part of this. And then come to find out, we're sitting there in the, you know, I have my window down, the car's off. We're listening to what's happening around, and there was 2 police officers that happened to come across.
Trying to figure out what happened.
Yeah, and they were talking, and then the other police officer says, oh, yeah, well, this one hit a cow. And then the one that came up to us says, oh, well, how do you know it's a cow? I don't see a cow here. And he looks at it and he says, oh, yeah, one part's over here, the other part's over there. And we were like, that whole thing, they split the cow in half, and we didn't even see it. Mm-hmm. So anyway, when they ended up getting things kind of situated, and then the police officer said, well, you know, since you guys weren't involved in this, so I'm going to have you go ahead and come around the other side. You're going to go into the ditch, but we have another officer that's over there that's going to kind of direct you. And so he directs us out, and we go, and we're, you know, on our way. Yeah. But then when we ended up getting to the destination area,
because part of the plan was to meet a brother in Fort Worth for breakfast, you know, and we were, and again, when I plan these things out, I plan them very semi-tight schedule, and so we had planned to meet him in the morning.
Yeah, so I mean, we were okay. I mean, I was all right. I kept driving or whatever, and we were. I think we were on time. I don't think we were.
Well,
I think
we were the only car they allowed to go through.
And that's true. Yeah, I don't think that I remember the highway or anything being, you know, coming behind us as we were going. I mean, we weren't. It didn't seem like we were that far away. But
we were there for a while because I think we got out of there about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
So we get to the restaurant,
and we're sitting there, and we're just telling the story, of course, to the people that we were meeting, and we didn't think we were going to meet them on time, but
and when she said that, I go, I wonder, and I looked, and I pull up the phone. 8 o'clock, that highway was still backed up from that accident.
You see the red, you know, when you're looking at your
from
GPS.
Where we were, there was red behind there, and then blue from there here to where we were.
It was still backed up almost 3-4 hours later.
So we would have been stuck in that.
Yeah, that would have been horrible. But, you know, we got to roll with the punches as we travel. You know, that's something we got to do. So.
And that began our nighttime adventures. That was our first nighttime adventure. There's another one we're going to share with you in the episode, the Epic Garcia road trip. We'll share
a nighttime
adventure with that one on that episode.
Yeah, well, you know, we know that it takes planning, of course, to you know, get to places, and we know that we have to just, you know, like I said, roll with the punches when you get there, and you have to be ready to you know, change your plans when something may happen in to hinder whatever you're doing. I think that's one of the biggest things that we've learned.
That's a good segue.
Oh, good.
You know, because the next thing we're going to talk about now is when destinations become staycations.
Yes. So, okay, I'll start off with this one.
Yeah, because it's your story.
Well, my family had planned on having a reunion, and so we were just going to Pueblo, which is probably
Well, we were headed to Las Vegas, New Mexico.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, my apologies. We were going to Las Vegas, New Mexico, through just to go to the location. And you and I were on our bikes, and the kids were all in my car. And so they were driving back, or they were driving, we were riding, we were all excited, and then my car started to overheat. And so we had to pull over, check on the kids, see if they were all right, and they were okay. And we said, okay, well, let's just see what we can do. Let's just kind of let it rest for a minute. Let's get to Colorado Springs, and we'll let it rest for a little bit. So
no, it was in Springs where it overheated.
Oh, it was that? Okay.
Yeah.
I just remember Springs, but anyway, so we decided to let it rest in a little bit, and so
check
then
the fluid. We filled the fluid.
It was everything was good when we left again, and then we started riding again, and then we ended up making it to
just outside of Pueblo, going down.
So we had already
between Pueblo and Walsenburg.
Then we had passed Pueblo.
We had passed Pueblo,
and so then the car's starting to overheat again. So the kids pull over, and we're like, well, okay, let's not try to limp all the way over.
Well, and
to
I think
Colorado
at
Springs.
that point, at that point, because we were ahead of them, we were leading the pack.
Yes.
And I think at that point we got behind them and went behind them, and as we were riding behind them, we can feel antifreeze, or we could feel liquid splashing up on our faces.
Yeah, so there
was a leak or something that we realized once it overheated again, that and it just started happening just outside of Pueblo. At first we didn't think nothing of it, or I didn't think nothing of it, and then when we pulled off and it overheated, we decided to head back to Pueblo.
Yeah, we ended up heading back to Pueblo, and we definitely did not think it was going to be a good idea for us to get to, or try to get to Las Vegas, because that would have been another 4 or 5 hours
Probably.
still, and it just wasn't a good idea. So anyway, after that we ended up pulling over. We ended up getting into Pueblo, and we stayed in a hotel, and this time we had our granddaughter with us and her mom, and we were, it was like, wow, what an adventure with this, because we didn't know how other people were going to feel about this. That's something that's
so we ended up getting 2 hotel rooms.
Okay.
And then I think the hotel itself had a pool.
Yeah, so we were able to let them all swim in the pool, and everybody pretty much had a good time.
Yeah, I think we were the only ones that were bummed out.
Yeah, definitely, because I really wanted to be with my family at the time for that reunion, and it's okay. We didn't make it, but
and then we limped our way home.
Yes, we did. It was okay on the way home, which
made
is
it
weird,
all the way to Castle Rock, overheated again, had some lunch, whatever, had some late breakfast, and then we limped it all the way home.
Yeah, and it was, we've had some adventures for sure when we're, doing our
early in our adventuring.
Yeah, and so now, we know a little bit more about checking fluids and making sure that the automobiles that we're riding in are
perfectly adequate to do what we need to do.
That our brekes are good.
Hey,
that our fluids are there. So
we're sharing all of our mishaps with you early in our traveling days.
So if you happen to go on any of your road trips, or you happen to decide that you're going to want to do any road trips, learn from us.
Yeah.
Please check your fluids, check your brakes, check everything. Make sure you've got your tools in your car.
Well, like I've always said, I'm an open book. I try not to hide anything. There's things that people don't really need to know, but there's things that, are advisable to people. Like the time, I was going to make a patch that said, my bike made it, but I didn't. So
in the early years of us actually having cars and things, we didn't have money to actually purchase brand new vehicles.
Very budget.
And so we yeah, when we were riding, I think that I don't remember what happened with that one. Why we didn't make it
on
to
that one. So we
it was we were in my car or your car or what, I don't know. We were in a car, a vehicle.
Okay, so let me tell the story.
Okay.
Yeah, now you're interrupting me now. Get on her. Remember, you got on me. Get on her. So we were going, and the night before, I had loaded up friends of ours. They were going to trailer the bikes up there. They were leaving on Thursday. I didn't get out of work till Friday, so I had to leave on Friday. So we loaded up all the bikes, I think on a Wednesday, loaded all the bikes up in the trailer. And so they left on Thursday morning. We were going to leave Thursday afternoon after I got off work, because I worked till about 2 o'clock. So we jump in the car, get it going. We're driving up to Sturgis, for the motorcycle rally. This would be my first one going. And so, we're going, and all of a sudden, in my car, I just hear, and the way it sounded, I thought my engine blew. Car was perfectly fine. I mean, everything checked out, and apparently I had hit something on the road that gashed my tire, and my tire blew out. And I knew, okay, we got to get this done. So we get out. It takes a little bit, and we get out, and we get the tire, the spare on. We get the spare on, and so then we drive into Cheyenne. And so I'm like, well, we're gonna burn the first day at the Airbnb, and we're gonna have to buy a hotel for the night because I have to get a tire on this car before we go any further. I cannot drive all the way from Cheyenne to Sturgis on a spare.
Yeah, that would have been...
Yeah, so that was horrible. So we wait for the next morning. Tire shop opens up. And so we go to the tire shop. And I say, okay, well, this is the tire that I have. Oh, we don't have those in stock. Like, what do you mean you don't have those in stock? Yeah, that's a specific tire. We don't have those in stock. So you're going to have to go to a different tire shop. We went to, like, think 2 or 3 tire shops in Cheyenne.
Yep, none of them.
Nobody had our tire.
Nobody had it.
Nobody. So I had to eat the Airbnb. Mm-hmm. We just couldn't. At that point, it was too late to cancel it because we were supposed to already be there.
Right.
So we couldn't really cancel it and get our money back. So we lost our money on the Airbnb. We had to limp our way all the way back. We drove from Cheyenne back down 85 to Greeley. Stopped in Greeley, discount tire. We don't have your tire. I had to drive all the way back to Northland, Colorado, to get my tire put on. So I literally had to drive and limp my way home on a donut.
Yeah, not very advisable for you to try to do that, but I mean, it was part of the adventure, and I think that we were all safe, of course. Things happened on the way back, and I think that that there's always a purpose. Yeah. For anything that we're gonna do, and now, of course, this is something a learning opportunity for us to learn that you just got to be prepared, for things to go right and things to not go so well. Right. So I don't know if we should even call this Staycations and Destinations. We should call this Poor Planning and Mishaps. maybe that might be something that we might have to be the new episode name, as opposed to Staycations and Destinations. Yeah. But again, we're just sharing our stories so that you can possibly learn from us if this is something you want to do. Again, I've learned having tools in the car, having what you need, having a full-size spare, all these things, come into play when you're traveling, because you don't know what's going to happen. I think actually that might have been the first time that we actually ended up buying a full-size spare when we came back, and we thought we can't do this again if we're going to continue to travel, or if we're going to continue to use the cars the way that we are. We need to have that, and we need to, so I think it was another learning experience for us for sure. Yeah, because we had the budget. We put it in the budget if something went wrong, so we had the money to buy the tire. But it was just not available. So right. Better to have it than to hope somebody has it. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So again, a lot of learning points for us. Yeah, definitely. And, learning to make sure that you have enough money for gas or enough money for something that may happen just like that.
Yeah.
Learning that, no, you're not going to, we do not want that to ever happen. But if it does, at least you have that in the budget that you're able to actually do what you need to do in order to get back to reality.
Well, I think all this happened in our early years. Like, we really didn't start really road tripping till 2021. Like we shared in the last episode. We didn't start really. All this was like pre-20.
Yeah.
I think this happened probably either in 17 or 18. 2017 or 2018. I can't remember which year it was, but it happened around there. And again, it was one of those things where, it just learning curve.
Yes.
And so as we began to really travel, we started to take all these things into consideration.
Mm-hmm. And it's definitely been one of those great learning experiences to take what we have experienced and the things that we have learned,
right?
And to share it with you,
right? So that's all we got for you today. As I always say, be blessed. And what do you say?
Like, subscribe, and share. And peace.
Peace.